You'll now hear Dr. Sara Stiernström from EasyMining presenting about the leading technologies ash to phos and aqua to N that will remove nitrogen and phosphorus from wastewater treatment plants.
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm super happy to be here. I'm very proud working at EasyMining and at Ragn-Sells. I think we're doing a great job. I will talk about the way we are closing nutrient cycles. Yeah, I think you said it. I'm a doctor. I actually did my PhD at the institute where Matthew is working. And I think great minds think alike, because I totally agree that we need to do it right from the beginning. I'll come back to that. EasyMining, we are fully owned by Ragn-Sells. We develop, design, and we have ideas. So we take everything from ideas to full-scale plants. And the focus is, of course, to recycle nutrients from waste. Waste is our raw material, and nutrients is our focus. But we have other things as well that we will recycle in these processes. We are about 55 employees at the moment. And EasyMining was founded in 2007. We are located in Sweden, but we also have people working in Germany. Yes, so we were, and we have been part of Ragn-Sells in 2014. And these are the three main things that we are working on. I will talk about aqua to N a bit, and then a bit more about ash to phos. But aqua to N is a solution to recycle and remove nitrogen from different liquid streams containing a lot of nitrogen, for example, in wastewater treatment plants. Ash to phos is a solution to recycle phosphorus from sewage sludge. It's the sewage sludge ash that is the raw material here. And then on the right, you have ash to salt. And ash to salt is a solution where we recycle salts from ash also, but this is incinerated household waste. So just very shortly about aqua to N and how that works with detoxification. And aqua to N is a great solution where we can recycle a really interesting product, a recycled nitrogen product with a very low footprint. And it acts on liquid waste streams, streams that have a high ammonium content. This is it's a chemical process where you have a catchment step and then you have a conversion step. And you get a very clean ammonium salt that can be recycled back to farmers as a fertilizer. So and do we have detoxification here, which is the topic of today? Yes, we do. So there is a lot of greenhouse gas emissions that are saved using this technology. But also it removes the nitrogen, which also makes very good for the, we're not releasing as much nitrogen to the environment, to the recipient, so eutrophication, for example, but also the product in itself contains a less footprint. But then I would like to talk a bit more about phosphorus and ash to phos. And just to give very brief background, maybe most of you know about this, but we are very dependent on a few countries today to get our phosphorus. And in Europe, we only have one mine. It's located in Finland, and it supplies roughly about 10% of the phosphorus that we use and need today. And also, and coupled to detoxification, the big mine in Morocco contains a lot of cadmium, and cadmium is a big health risk. Costs a lot of money for us when it moves down the chain into health and being a problem there. And therefore, we need also solutions to take away the cadmium. But what this picture also says is that going forward, we will be more and more and more dependent on these few countries. And therefore, we need to have some other place to tap phosphorus from. And actually we have a lot of phosphorus in waste streams. One important waste streams is the sewage sludge. And in this value chain, incineration actually becomes a very important stepping stone to get chemical recycling happen from the ash. So incineration will actually make us, will enable high quality phosphorus recycling. So we have detoxification in this step. We can distract microplastics, we can distract a lot of organic pollutants, we can destroy drug residues and pathogens. Also interesting, we go from a very low concentration in the sewage sludge, which makes it very difficult, therefore, to have a cost-efficient solution going directly for the sewage sludge. But if we make it into an ash, we increase the concentration a lot and make it an interesting raw material compared to a mine where the amounts are much lower. It simplifies logistics, transports, and you can also have energy production with the incineration. And what is it we want to do here? We want to be part of a value chain where we have the wastewater treatment plants being resource plants, as Per talked about. We want the incineration to be part. We want to take the part between the incineration and the production industry. And we then want to be able to replace at least some of the mining, which could be more and more, depending on how much recycling we can actually do here. So we want to close the loop. And ash to phos also have detoxification for sure. So we separate heavy metals in a step, and these can be taken away, and we can either use it to recycle metals or we can short-term deposit them safely. We save a lot of CO2 emissions as well, replacing, for example, this clean phosphorus product that we get instead of having the mined phosphorus. We also have other products. I will not go into them, but these will also do a lot of CO2 savings. Just since the focus is detoxification, just showing this shortly, we have the contaminants in the ash, we have the recovered phosphorus, and we have the reduction. And it's roughly more than 96% of the reduction of heavy metals that we can get from this process. So the detoxification is very good. And finally, I will show this beautiful picture. It's very self-explanatory, I think. But it has the same points that has been told over and over again today, that if we don't do it right from the beginning, we will have problems further on in the chain. And if we think about legislation, actually it's very linear today. Everyone is working with their part of the value chain, and the authorities don't seem really to cooperate. So someone can ban something further down in the value chain while someone else is letting something be okay, so to speak. And I think, so I want to hammer that in, that we need to have a common goal, I think. If we talk about recycling of nutrients, if we have a goal to recycle nutrients, we also need to fit all these legislations into that to make it happen, because someone will need to take the cost. We can have the example of the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive up there with the wastewater treatment plants. That's coming new, a new one, where it will be much lower limits for the wastewater treatment plants, for example, for drug residues. And then there's something called the polluters pay principle, which is a great principle, but it's not at all used. And now they want to use it here, in this case, to have someone pay for all the costs that we need to take away these drug residues. And these companies are, of course, now complaining a lot about this. So it might end up on the VA tax. So yeah, that was my last slide. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sara. What I'd like to mention or like to discuss with you is, we know, both of you know the answer on my question, but of course I want you to answer it. The phosphorus that we now use, we can use it as a fertilizer. EU is working on allowing it as for organic farming. Tell me more about the process.
Yes, if that happens, I want a statue. No. But yes, so in organic farming, there's a positive list of things that are allowed. Like 1.5 years ago, we applied to get it into the legislation. You need to collaborate with the Swedish authorities. They need to approve and send it to the commission, and then it ping-pongs around. But we're super happy now because the group, the experts within the EU Commission has said, yes, we think this is a great idea. So if everything works out, they will vote it in November, and then it will be part of the legislation in March next year.
I think it's an applause.
Yes.
And me and Sara met the person responsible for this expert committee in Spain just last week.
Yes.
And he in his presentation, he already presented this like this will happen. So now we need to see it happen as well.
Yes.
But we doesn't only work on organic farming, we also work on feed.
Yes.
Why and what is happening there?
The best fit is in feed. It has great digestibility in pigs and poultry. We have tested it. We're now running tests again with pigs in Denmark, and we see already now very positive results. So we want it, of course, to go into feed. It also has here the highest value. So we're working both to get it approved in Canada. And why is that? Because in EU, it's a total ban on everything recycled from waste. But we're also meeting up with some people in Brussels next week, DG Santé, which is responsible for feed safety. So maybe we can have an opening there. Otherwise, we will go to Canada, we'll sell it to Canada, and then EU will be like, maybe we want in on this. So let's see.
And why is this so important? Well, if we can get a feed price, the cost for the cities to treat the sewage sludge will be lower than today. So it means that the consequence will be that we can build many factories in the future. So that's an easy way out. You talk about higher via taxes. We talk of potential of keeping the via taxes if we can have our solution being implemented. So it's a good example. And we target high quality recycling. So it's a process that really produces a high quality. And that will be key going forward. If we're going to have new tires that we heard before, we need to make sure that what we recirculate or we put in need to have high quality. So all processes in the future need to have a detoxification step and produce high quality. I'm totally convinced of that. Thank you so much, Sara.
Thank you.